feels strange, doesn't it? Sitting here with everyone laughing in a place you think is yours, while they cheer for someone else who you think made it. I kept quiet about owning it because I wanted to see how you'd act toward someone you thought had nothing. That framed picture in the hallway you're so proud of, it was mine before you even touched it. That paper with the house title hanging there, I signed that 15 years ago.
Oh, bless her. She always gets emotional on Thanksgiving. Don't worry, everyone. She has her good days and bad ones. We just smile and let her say what she wants. She gets like this after just half a glass of wine. Bless her heart.
No wine tonight, just the facts. And this. I bet you know what real county papers look like, right? This one is signed, had witnesses, and got stamped on March 14th, 2008 to be exact. And Darren? His name was taken off the trust last April. Quietly.
This is exactly why we talked about getting power of attorney. All this chasing papers and keeping secrets is getting risky. Do you really think holding a piece of paper makes you untouchable? You're starting to scare people, and I'm not going to let you risk your health just to feel in control. You can show your papers, Alan, but I've got video for the court.
The dining room looked warm and perfect. Soft amber lights on the wall, glasses ringing together, lavender napkins on the table, and Thalia's red necklace shining like it knew how special it was. One of the neighbors raised a glass and said smoothly, "To the heart of this home, Thalia." Everyone clapped politely. Darren laughed a little as he checked his phone. But Aileen just folded her hands in her lap, and when she spoke, her voice was calm and smooth, but sharp like a knife. She didn't yell, she didn't blame anyone, but the clapping stopped quicker than the color disappeared from Thalia's face. When Aileen leaned in and quietly said, "You've been renting your own arrogance."
I remember the year 1982 so clearly. Not because the leaves changed early that year or because Harold forgot our anniversary. It's because I stayed up for 3 nights without sleep, typing our very first business lease on an old typewriter that didn't work right. Harold had just come back from some wine event where a banker shook his hand and called him a natural businessman. Meanwhile, I was trying to fix the page margins and figure out how much risk we could handle, with our grocery bills sitting on my lap. The realtor said Harold's name should be on everything because it looked better. I didn't argue, I just kept typing. 23 pages, double-spaced. I made sure every part kept us safe, and I handled all the phone calls to work out the details from our garage. When we signed it, Harold smiled like he wrote everything. I didn't say anything. I put the papers away, steamed his suit, and wrote the opening day press release. No one asked where the logo came from, they just thought he picked it. I never told them different. That was the first time I gave the world away using someone else's name.
Yeah, back then nobody questioned a man being in charge. That was just normal, right? Plus, Harold had charm and big ideas. He could walk into a room and grab attention. People wanted to follow him. That's what matters in business, not who can type fast or who does the paperwork. You were lucky, Eileen. Men like Harold don't come around often.
Luck had nothing to do with anything. When our third restaurant was about to fall apart, I was 8 months pregnant and busy going through our books. Someone who worked for us had been secretly taking small amounts of money, like 2% here, 5% there. Harold was in Italy checking out suppliers, drinking wine, and being praised for his fancy taste. I told everyone I was just organizing our receipts, but really I was printing out record logs, fixing supplier bills, and checking every cash difference over 6 weeks. I didn't ask anyone for help. I called the supplier myself, found the missing money trail, and when Harold got back, I gave him a full report tied with a ribbon so he'd actually read it. The thief never came back. No news story, no praise. While he was tasting wine in France, I found the problem with a spreadsheet and a smile.
You were always, I don't know, so loyal. You could see what needed doing and just did it without needing praise. That's rare and kind of sweet, really. Not everybody needs to be in the spotlight. Some people are better at helping others shine. That's what made you special. You knew how to stay out of sight.
Did I really, though? Do you know what this is? It's the original menu from Le Petit Holloway. I wrote it by hand. Every part of it was mine. The recipes, the writing style, even the kind of paper we used. I even tested the ink to make sure it didn't smudge in candlelight. But the newspaper on opening day called Harold a food pioneer. I stood next to him smiling, like a waitress passing snacks at her own wedding. I let everyone think I was just the caring one, the helper, but I didn't stand behind anything. I made it. I pushed our egos aside and opened the doors. I cooked the first 20 dinners while he stood outside taking pictures with food critics. I was never behind the curtain, Thalia. I made the curtain, and I pulled it open too.
Okay, now you're being a little dramatic. I mean, we all remember things a little differently as we get older. That's just how people are. I'm sure your memories feel real. Feelings are powerful, right? What really matters is how it made you feel. Even if it didn't happen exactly like that. It's kind of sweet. People change their stories as they get older to feel like they meant something.
I don't feel bad, but it is sad how many years I let other people write me small. Do you remember your bouquet? Those white flowers? The tiny ones? The fancy silk wrap that was so slippery you kept having to fix your grip? Everyone thought I was just emotional. But really I was nervous you'd feel it. The house deed folded up inside the flowers. I hid it there, because I hoped maybe you'd stop for a second. Maybe you'd ask. For all these years you walked through life with everything handed to you, something I placed right in your hands hoping you'd earn it. But you didn't even look close enough to notice how heavy it was. And that's the painful part. Not your words, not the mean things. It's how normal your blindness was. You walked into power holding my name, wrapped in tiny flowers. I really thought you'd notice.
You think I didn't try? I changed everything about myself for this family, for him, for you. I served dinners to people who wouldn't even look at me. I smiled while feeling invisible. Do you know how hard it is to feel like a stranger in a home you helped pay for? I know I wasn't perfect, okay? Maybe I took too much, but at least I felt like I mattered.
You really should have looked behind you before calling the banker to move over the power stuff, especially if you thought I was sleeping. I'm guessing you didn't hear him say my name when he picked up and asked me to okay the request from my account. You know, the same one tied to your home internet. And yeah, the online search, I saw that right away. You left that tab open on my computer. The one where you looked up how to declare dementia without a full diagnosis. I read every word 6 minutes after you typed it. That form Darren signed, I know you slid it in front of him when he was distracted, laughing with a glass of wine while you were joking about my last months and how quiet it would be once everything went through. He thought he was just signing a guest list for some party. Want to hear the recording? I taped that dinner too, even your clapping when he didn't ask questions. I've been staying calm, I've been quiet, but you've been doing this out in the open. And now that I've put it all together, it's amazing how simple it was to turn this plan around on you. I already went to your little meeting, Thalia, the one you said would wrap things up peacefully.
Is that really what you think this was about? That we're some kind of bad team trying to trick you? No, this was just a backup plan. Something the lawyer said made sense to have, since you've been kinda off, that's all. We care about you. Darren was just trying to keep you safe. You started losing things and calling the cat Harold. We weren't trying to hurt you, just help.
Off. Sweetheart, the only thing I lost was my patience. And I got that back 10 minutes after the person at the trust place called, saying they flagged your fake try to get into my stuff. It's all written down, even the internet history, proving your phone or laptop made that search while you were right here in my house. The day I took that long nap, you filled out some government form using my name, hitting autofill. You skipped the part where I sign. You used a pen that writes on screens. But my browser kept more info than you ever thought I would.
Now you're twisting everything and making up some story just to feel in control. You're being paranoid. None of this proves anything. Darren signed because I asked him to. It was just a signature. He didn't need to read every single page.
Of course he didn't, because you made him feel like he could trust you. But trust doesn't work like that, and now it's too late to act confused. I've had tracking on all my devices for 14 months. I know the exact moment you opened my medical info through the patient website. And that letter from the doctor, the one from the same week you searched early dementia symptoms, it says I'm doing great. Much better than average. It uses words like very sharp mind, no signs of brain problems, and let's see, excellent ability to make decisions. You thought I got rid of that letter. I didn't. I mailed it to the district judge ahead of time, just in case. If we're talking about memory, maybe I'll send that letter over to the judge before yours shows up with no signature.
This is crazy. You've always been dramatic. But this? Acting like you're in some kind of court TV show? No one's gonna believe a woman with cameras in her teacups and secret files and flower pots. This isn't a movie, Eileen. They'll see right through your little speech.
That's where you're wrong. I stopped needing people to believe me the second I filed that sworn paper, the one I signed 2 days before your forms got to the lawyer. That same paper says I thought someone would try to mess with guardianship, and I sent it sealed. You finishing those forms only proved the timeline. And that guest list Darren signed? I had lunch with him that same week. He brought it up kind of. So I recorded that chat too. I even told him these days people are signing away more than dinners. He laughed. It's all allowed in court. You've stepped into every trap I set. You tried to corner a widow Thalia, but I'm the one who built the cage.
You weren't supposed to find out. Fine, go ahead and make up your little story. But if Darren believes you, maybe I didn't judge either of you right.
Funny thing about memory, it's not as bad as people like to say when they get caught. I was listening to old voice messages, sorting files, backing up my phone. You said, and I'm quoting here, "If she keeps forgetting bills this much, maybe we should have her checked. Something easy like a chair test or whatever they do for people losing their memory." You laughed. Just you. That was on October 17th at 3:04 in the afternoon. It's saved, labeled, and has the time on it, like the rest. It's strange how clear a voice sounds when there's no one around to impress, right? I'm not blaming you or asking for anything. I'm just noticing things, one bit at a time. I used to defend myself, remember? Try to make you happy, calm things down, find my way back in. That part of me is gone. Now I just listen. And what I hear is probably something you never thought I'd bring back to you. Crazy how the truth sounds when it's your own voice saying it.
You're falling apart. Recording private talks? That's not just weird, it's really sad. Don't you see how this makes you look? I was trying to help, I was worried. You've been off lately, and if you're saving all this like some kind of revenge stash, that's not normal, it's too much. I can't just let this go, and if you keep this up, I'll have to look after myself the legal way. Keep crossing lines like this, and you won't be the one making reports.
My lawyer made it very clear that recording messages on my own phone and talks that happen in places I own or have the right to record in is all legal. Everything's been looked at, sorted, locked with a fingerprint system and a way to access it from far away. And if someone ever breaks in, I already set it up to send a digital file to the law firm that takes care of my will. There's no mystery anymore. I'm not doing this to prove anything to you. We're way past the point where explaining means something. You once said it was all paranoia. But see, paranoia is made up. What I have is real proof. Cold, careful, slow like a long winter. I'm not saving all this because I'm scared of you. I'm saving it because I already know what you're going to do.
Oh my God, you really sound crazy. This is you being obsessed and trying to act like you're in control. Do you really think that makes you seem okay? What, you've been sitting in that dusty place writing down every little thing I ever said. Who even does that? You're just pretending, right? I mean, there's no way you kept track of everything.
It's wild what you find when you start watching things closely. Like how every time you asked for money it came after a trip to the doctor. Or how you always brought up my health right around when property bills showed up. Or when you sent that letter to your lawyer, the one about making guardianship easier. You used that same pink paper from the desk drawer in the guest room. It had a stamp on it, sealed all neat like always. But you didn't notice that the letter got sent here first. Your post office made a mistake. I put it in my file under Threat Index Parcel 3B. That note you thought was private? It never even made it to that lawyer's desk. So do you want to open it with me now, or should I send it over to Detective Bryant?
You're out of your mind. You really think this makes you powerful? It just shows how alone you are. Going through old emails and receipts like they mean something. You're holding on to paper because there's no one left who talks to you, no one who picks you on purpose. That's what this really is. Just an old woman pretending it's all a plan, when really she's just used to being left behind. You're not powerful, Eileen. You're just used to being left behind.
If I'm good at anything, it's waiting long enough to see people show who they really are. You asked if I kept everything. I did. Even your little meeting with the guardianship lawyer in May. I have the recording full length, clear and sent out twice. Once to the cloud, once to the local police. You did a great job pretending to care. You said things like she forgets tea on the stove, and sometimes she just stares too long at the wall. But you messed up. You talked about accounts you said you didn't know about, and maybe people would have missed that. Except I also found the fake papers, the guardianship request, Darren's name, your shaky signature. I kept the real one. Your copy? I traced it and saved the time on it. signed with the ink from that fountain pen on Darren's desk, the one right under the camera. You never even noticed the camera above it.
I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I thought it needed to be handled before everything got worse, before we lost what he built for us. I was just trying to keep the family safe. Don't you see that? You think this ruins me. But what if it ruins Darren instead?
I'm guessing you remember the address now. Funny how memories start to shift when the truth shows up with your name on it, right? That paper you've been staring at for the last 5 minutes. Yep, it's real. It's fully signed, stamped, and dated 2 months before you two even threw that house party. I paid for it with the money Harold and I made from the investment we talked about on the flight back from Milan. The one you said didn't fit your brand style. And that video on the flash drive, the one where she's laughing about telling the neighbors I forget my name at dinner, yeah, that one's harder to pretend didn't happen. This room and this view aren't new. They just never needed approval from anyone. No guests, just honesty at the door. I didn't bring you here to ask for a spot at the table. I built the table. While you sat there thinking you wrote the story, I just kept flipping pages. This isn't payback, Darren. It's just setting things right.
Wow, I gotta say, I'm impressed. Who knew being sad came with so much decorating and drama? Is this your big moment? What's next? A secret door behind the bookshelf? Honestly, it's kind of sad. All this acting just to make Darren think you're some victim of betrayal instead of a bored widow with way too much free time and no real help. Let me guess, you gave him all the proof on some fancy plates too?
No fancy plates, just dates and proof. Here's the paper showing the changes Harold made to the trust before he died. Look at the email chain between him and the lawyer February 18th. That was 2 years before you acted like you didn't know how to use the scanner I left near the cabinet. That email you sent Darren saying we might have to move the old lady into memory care early if she keeps losing her mouthwash. I marked that as Exhibit 7. But this part's even better. Listen closely. That's your voice in August, joking with Loretta about how easy it is to steer Darren when you start with compliments. You said he's like clay. Just stroke the ego, then get him to sign the checkbook. The woman you always stood up for said you were even easier to shape than clay as long as someone compliments you first. Her words, not mine.
This is just sneaky. You're calling it justice, but it's really just snooping around, and it won't stick. You really think digging through emails makes this a courtroom? There are laws for this. There are steps to follow. And since you love paperwork so much, guess what? I already filed for emergency guardianship last week. The court date is already set. It's done, Darren. So you need to choose the past or the future we're building.
You picked every word in that form like you were writing something important to hang on a wall, but leaving stuff out can be just as powerful. You didn't think about what I'd already filed, or what Harold left in my name, or how when you laughed over lamb stew about how useless I'd gotten, I quietly changed a paper that had been sitting untouched a long time. Darren's name was taken out from the backup spot on my 2020 will. That same week he passed the gravy without looking me in the eye. I didn't kick him out of my life. I just made it up to him if he wanted to come back. What we choose shows more than just family ties. Loyalty costs something. Darren, I just stopped paying for yours.
So this is what you're really doing. Calling it justice, but it's really just poison. Making him think I'm the outsider in his own life. I get it now. You've been waiting all these years to flip the script like some rich soap opera, and he's buying it. Just like my mother warned me, when you let someone else tell the story, you end up being the bad guy in your own house. You're turning things upside down the same way she did, making something warm feel suspicious.
No one twisted anything. The truth doesn't shape things, it just shows what's already there. Darren is finally seeing things clearly without all the charm getting in the way. That scares you, but it doesn't make you fully guilty, not yet. You bring noise with your anger. I like to build things instead. That envelope near the tea set has something inside for you. A donation made in your name to the Women's Legal Defense Fund. Yep, your name with a little note about ethics and guardianship. A quiet message. A mirror maybe. I'm not trying to erase you. But I'm not gonna clean up your part either. You played your role, and now I'm just gonna live my life, straight and clear. Darren won't need to remember what happened. The plaque in the lobby will take care of that.
You're pretending this is a clean ending, but it just feels like a show. I don't need some fancy plaque to remind him who kept everything running when you forgot where the power box was. Want some irony? I've already got screenshots of his bank info saved from when you were still paying bills with coins. You think this is your win, but I still know all his passwords. He'll remember who really looked after him when you weren't there.
3 weeks after your little stunt at the bank, I went to the university clinic for a private checkup on my brain health. No cameras, no letters sent home, no nurse showing up, just a sharp 2-hour test with a group of experts, witnessed and signed by a trusted outside person. That report, along with my mental health check from 6 months ago, proved that my mind is clear, I handle my money just fine, and here's the important part. I know exactly what I'm doing with every choice I make and every account I log into. I gave a copy to Detective Martinez last night, and he called me back to say he got it. I also started a legal meeting right after I saw what you were up to, calling lawyers who help with elder care, trying to get control over me and those Facebook messages you thought were deleted, asking how to make someone look crazy without causing a fight. It's all clear now. The handwriting check already showed that the complaint wasn't written by me. And I brought the video camera footage today, the one you walked past 23 times thinking it wasn't real. I didn't stay quiet because I was scared. I stayed quiet to give you one last shot to do the right thing. But you made things worse. So let me ask, does this sound like something a confused old lady would do, or someone who knew a storm was coming?
Oh, come on, that's cute. You think some fancy clothes and quoting papers is going to change anything? They already saw the messages. They saw what you said about the wet stairs and about Darren messing up your pills. You're not here to clear things up. You're panicking. You're twisting the story so fast I almost have to respect how hard you're trying. Keep making stuff up, Eileen. Let's see how it sounds when you swear to it in court.
There are 12 pages in this folder, each one marked with a date and a digital code. Here are the bank papers showing you moved $8,392 from my account into yours on February 14th, 2 hours before you showed up with a spa weekend for my birthday. Look at the emails. These have full info, untouched. You wrote to that guardianship lawyer 5 days before that. And these voice clips? That's you talking about money rules with Darren while eating lunch that I paid for. And if you're wondering about proof of where I was, Detective Martinez saw the security video from my apartment, and I'm clearly walking by myself with 2 grocery bags on the same day you said I forgot where I live. You filed your complaint 32 minutes after I shut off your access to the joint account.
You're just trying to get back at me, that's what this is. You really think people will pick your side over the woman who just gave money to the police fundraiser? I know people downtown, people who don't like fake drama dressed up like some big ending. You want that kind of mess? Go burn a theater. This right here is real life. You think I'm going down because some angry widow learned how to use Excel?
I don't need everyone to believe me. I just need the papers to match the facts, and they do. Even the handwriting test, the bank alerts, and the slips from that pawn shop out in Glendale. Want me to read it out loud? Let her keep the jewelry for now. It's fake anyway. Lol, I'll say it was a sentimental mix-up if she notices. That was your text to Darren. What you didn't know was those were real diamonds, Harold's last present to me, and I wore them again last week, not to show off, but because I finally stopped acting like they were too fancy for me. You always thought being quiet meant I was dumb. That's the last lie I'm here to break.
You think Darren is just some sweet angel? He went along with all of this until you pulled out the big apartment view. Don't act like he didn't agree to stuff. He's not clean, he's just scared of getting caught. You're still protecting him like always. But don't forget, he has just as much to lose as you do. Or did he not tell you that part?
He did tell me actually, right before he started crying. But the difference is, he still had enough heart to ask if there was a way to fix things. He told the truth. He said you gave him those hidden papers to sign, made fake posts pretending they were from me, and even planned to fly to Arizona until it all calms down. So no, I'm not here to save him. I'm here to finish this. I put $100,000 into a new investment fund 2 weeks before those emails you showed, saying I mixed up the remote with my medicine bottle. You remember that joke, don't you? I opened my sweater when I walked in because the proof's right here, sealed with a clear date and my initials. I spent 6 figures on purpose, not by mistake. But I guess that's hard to understand when all your money comes from lying.
Say what you want, but once this is over, you'll still be alone. Everyone claps when the hero wins, sure, but after that, the room empties. My dad warned me about people like you. Quiet on the outside, sneaky deep down. You got your win today. Good for you, but nobody loves a woman who wins by herself.
This folder has the final papers. They were signed and stamped 2 weeks ago. The bank accounts were frozen the same morning you gave in that report. Yep, that one. I didn't need a judge to shut things down. I just had to stop pretending. That credit card you used in Aspen? It only worked because I created a special rule for it. The gift bags, the charity events, the rooftop brunches, I kept record of all of it, and I could take it all back. I let you play your part until the truth came out. You thought the money was out of kindness? No, it was info. This isn't payback. This is giving things back how they should be. You called me a problem in a house that I bought, laughed at me in rooms I designed, dressed up shame like it was something fancy, and thought I'd stay quiet just to keep things calm. What you didn't know is I was keeping notes the whole time. You thought I was locked out, but no, sweetheart, I had the key. You're not locked out of my life, Thalia. You're locked out of the show you were pretending to star in.
Oh, please. You sound like one of those audiobooks that takes itself way too seriously. So you froze some accounts, doesn't mean I can't fix it later. And don't forget who still has Darren's trust. He's not cold like you. He actually cares. He even called me from the holding cell. He sounded shaken and confused, and he missed me. You really think some fancy words and little tricks will erase the past? He remembers what we had. He always comes back to me.
There's a meeting with lawyers next Friday, and your lawyer already said yes to show up. It's a civil case, not about money but to fix the record. You'll be asked to take back the lies you told, say sorry while under oath, and admit to hurting me on 8 different points. You wanted attention from the media, now you'll get it. But this time you'll be sitting across from me, not as the daughter-in-law, but as someone on trial. The only thing I want is the truth. You lived your life like a fake photo, full of angles, edits, fake stuff. I lived mine with real papers, real writing, real proof. No diamonds, no fans, no fake crying on a podcast can change something that was signed and stamped. This isn't big and loud, it's clean and careful. And you'll pay me in just 2 ways, by being responsible and by staying quiet.
You're just pretending. You've always hated fights. You really think dragging me into court is going to fix your perfect little story? I'm not going to beg. This is too low for me. I mean, look around. Everyone's just standing there. You really think this is strong? You were never supposed to fight back.
I still remember the sound your heels made when you walked into my front hall. How you laughed when you thought I couldn't hear you. That night you joked about swapping widow tears for wine money. Or the time, see if you remember, when you stood under our chandelier and said I could always get a job at Walmart. You never thought about why I didn't get upset, why I just smiled and passed the potatoes. It's because I was counting, watching you show off in a house I helped make with glass I picked, chairs I bought, and windows I paid for so light could come in. You laughed in rooms built on my sadness and lit candles with matches I gave you. And now, that key you always showed off about? It's on that table inside a donation envelope. You made fun of me under my own chandelier. Now it's the same light showing you the way out.
You think acting like a saint makes you untouchable? You think people are going to lift you up and carry you around just because you played the quiet mother figure? I could go online, I could tear you down while smiling into a camera. People love to worship broken things, Eileen, especially when the wreck wears pearls.
Then go ahead and save this. It's the only thing you're getting to remember him by. In that photo, that man held your child with hands worn down from working hard to build all the stuff you showed off. He didn't brag, he built. And while you were busy making everything look perfect, I was working to protect what he made. I never erased you, I kept track. This isn't me kicking you out. This is the final note you wrote with your cold-hearted ways. I won't stand in your fall, and I won't walk in your shadow. I've picked light, care, and honesty. I don't have any anger left for you. Bring this back when you finally understand what real worth means.
You sit there looking so proud of yourself, covered in all that clean power. You think just because you gave me a photo and called it history, that you've won. But you forgot one thing. I brought life to that house. I picked out the furniture. My laughter filled every room, and my lipstick marks are still on the mirror in the bathroom. Enjoy your big view, Eileen. But don't forget who showed him where the light switch was.
I used to think being quiet was the safest thing to do, the only thing that still gave me some control. After Harold died, I thought just getting through it was the same as being strong. I let you talk over me, laugh at me, feel sorry for me, and I smiled, not because I agreed, but because I was paying attention. I remembered who helped me without being asked, and who only offered when they could get credit for it. But let me tell you something, Thalia. Being strong doesn't always look like showing up in fancy shoes or standing in court. Sometimes it's just a woman by herself on a Sunday morning, making her own coffee in the house you tried to take from her. Do you know when I really saw the real you? It wasn't at the station. It wasn't when you tried to make people think I was losing my mind. It was the night you wore my necklace, the one I sent without saying it was from me, hoping it would make you smile. You wore it, then made fun of me so much I cried. That's the moment I knew. I stopped trying to be noticed and started getting ready for the day I wouldn't need to be. I'm not mad anymore. I'm wide awake now, and I don't need to fight to win. I buried my silence beside Harold. I don't live there anymore.
You're changing the story. I tried to help you. I tried to look after the family. Maybe I came across too strong. Maybe I said things too straight. But you twisted it all. Darren won't even reply to my messages. You turned him against me, against his own life. You act like this whole thing was some kind of game, like you were the only one who ever got hurt. But waiting doesn't make you some kind of hero. You think being quiet makes you better than everyone else? That's not being clear. That's just controlling things. You set all this up just to hurt me. For what? For not always agreeing with you. You call it silence. I call it spite.